Good day, folks. This is Judy at Green Pastures Farm. Today we're looking at the residual that we left after grazing. And we were here 7 days ago, and we gave them roughly about 5 acres and twice a day. So this had been like a morning move, and we moved them again at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. That bottle, that's my water bottle, that is 12 inches tall. So if you look, there's actually forage out here that's quite a bit taller than that bottle. It's 12, 13 inches tall. And you can see what the cattle did. They just took the tips. See that? And people say, yeah, but the reason they didn't eat the rest of it, it's no good. Well, tell me that when the snow's flying this winter, the cows got a big smile on their face, and they're grazing this green fescue, and they're all in very, very good body condition doing that without having to feed hay. And that's what we're talking about. We're building winter stockpile here. And if I graze it all down to, let's say, there's my hand laying flat. If you graze it all down to 1 to 2 inches, you're not going to have that. Okay? There's already regrowth taking place here, folks. Look at that. Here's a clump of clover. Those are new leaves that weren't here when the cattle were here 7 days ago. It's already jumped up through the grass. And, some people are concerned, well, you've got too much clover in there. Nah. Since I went to this twice a day moves, our cattle are never hungry. Now, if you put a bunch of hungry cattle on this real early in the morning with wet dew on it, you might have a bloat issue, but we haven't bloated a cow. Gosh, I don't think I've ever bloated a cow since we started with the mob grazing. And there's quite a bit of clover in here, but there's also quite a bit of grass. So when they reach down to get them a bite, they are going to get some of that grass, okay? Lots of clover. Where did it come from? I don't know. We didn't seed it. We haven't seeded any clover for over 12 years. It comes back every year. That's because we let it go to seed. Gotta let it go to seed. Okay? That's what nature does. They let it go to seed. They don't go out there to the feed store or wherever and buy a bunch of clover seed. Nature just uses seed that is growing on the plant, and that's kind of what we're doing. Trying to keep all the money in our back pocket instead of giving it to the input people. But people wanted to know, this is the paddock that I said this is not what you want to do earlier in the summer. Matter of fact, the grazing before this one, we nuked it. Accidentally, the cows, we gave them too small an area, and they pounded this paddock. But look at it. I wish I'd had a picture of it before we grazed it. But it looked a lot like this, except for it's a little bit taller, but it still is just a gorgeous, gorgeous paddock. Tons of grass out here. Just tons. And when you see the grass is real thick in here, the ragweed's having a hard time. See that? There's one plant right there. There's another one right there, but underneath that plant, if you look in a little closer, see, there's the base of it. Look what's underneath there. So I'm not going to cry about that one ragweed. Ragweed has a heck of a taproot on it. And so it's mining minerals that are deep in the soil profile that the grasses can't reach. And that ragweed's putting that mineral right out here. Okay? So when this plant falls over on the ground, which it will, and the earthworms consume it back into the soil, you're getting a lot of good mineralization from that weed. It's kind of the way nature worked for thousands of years, and it works quite well, I'll add. One of the things that I've learned over the years is the more that we can mimic nature and stay out of her way and just let her do her thing. This is what the bison did. They defecated. The manure path is 7 days old. See what's in there. I don't see any fly larvae. Probably already hatched out if there was any in that one. It's pretty thin manure pad. Okay. Yeah, there's no white maggots crawling around in there. But that's what we're doing. We're defecating. Oh, here's a big one. Look at that one. Folks, there's something happening on that. Look at that. The darn worms or something. What has desiccated that thing that quick? I know it's 80 degrees out here, but my gosh. Man, that manure smells good. See, there's no maggots in there. That manure pad's only 7 days old. Wow, beautiful stuff. You can almost put that in a cereal bowl and put some milk on it. Just kidding. Maybe not. We're starting to see a lot of improvements in our pastures when we started putting more litter on the ground. And you can call it litter, the old timers call it litter, carbon, anything that's organic that you can trample on the ground and leave. Here's a pea spot. It's kind of yellow. Okay. That's going to grow a bunch of grass. But they're only here for 8 hours. And that's what happens, you know. We don't worm our cows. We don't worm our calves. We don't worm nothing. And that's because we're not making the cows graze it down to the ground. Okay? Some people say this is lax grazing. You call it what you want. I call it high animal performance. Fat cows, healthy grass, quick recovery periods, growing winter stockpile. Now, what's a better recipe than that? I don't know of any. And, you know, I just passed a guy coming here and had a great big fertilizer cart on the back of his truck full of ammonium nitrate. He's going to put it on his pasture down the road here. So he's nuking his property. Folks, once you start putting ammonium nitrate down to grow winter stockpile, you get it in that rate of 80 to 100 pounds an acre, you're nuking your soil microbes. You're killing them. And then your whole farm is pretty much, you're a drug addict from that point forward. Okay? You've killed those soil microbes, and the fertilizer company laughs all the way to the bank with your money every year because they know now that your soil is sterile or almost sterile. You're not going to grow any grass unless you come and get that ammonium nitrate from them every year. I wanted to look, I haven't seen this so much. Look at this. Now that's red clover, but I haven't seen that red in the middle like that. Typically red clover looks more like this. You know, you got your white, see that? But right next to it is that. Huh, it's kind of pretty. Maybe some of you out there on YouTube can tell me what that is, but I haven't seen the red center on red clover like that before. Maybe I have and I forgot. It's pretty cool looking. We went a good time without rain now. It's been in the 90s, but you know what? You can pull this back with your hand. Gosh, look at that! Oh my gosh! Hold on, you all. That soil's wet. That's right on the ground surface. It's wet. And the reason it's wet, no rain, 90-degree days every day. The reason it's nice and cool and wet, well heck, look at that mulch we got on there. We got this huge umbrella of green forage covering our soil so that when we don't get a rain and it is hot, our grass stays green and continues to grow. Okay? The folks that say you want to turn in at 6 inches and graze it down to 2 inches, they're not going to make very much money in the long run because they're not going to have any winter stockpile. The worst part of doing that is in the summertime, your grasses, they dry up. You don't have this canopy here to keep the sun off your land. So don't do that. We call this growing our haystack. And that's what we're doing. We're growing our haystack. Each time we come through here, when you graze the plant, it sends out more appendages, and it's just like trimming a rose bush. You get more leaves. Every time the plants get grazed, they send out more leaves. Look how thick this is. Folks, by springtime, all of this is going to be gone. There'll be maybe 2 inches, okay? And yes, we have fed some hay on this. This last 2 years, we have not fed much on this particular paddock, But it takes more than just rolling out hay. The last video I had a guy say, you mean you simply just roll out hay and you turn ragweed to this? No, it wasn't that simple. The first year we laid out hay on that paddock that I had the video of on the ragweed paddock, we put out 100 bales of big blue stem. And they only ate about 10% of those bales. That's because it was over mature. So I put down, you might say 90% of every 1,500 pound net wrap bale onto the soil surface that winter. And the cows came in and just massacred it with manure and urine, laying on it, stomping on it. So I put a huge amount of carbon on that farm. Well, in the next 2 years after that, we've done the same thing. Only now it's better hay. They're eating about 70% and they're still trampling around 30%. And so over the times, and that's not counting the summertime, we're making sure we're not overgrazing it. And it took 3 years. So it wasn't simply just roll out the hay and you get wah-wah. It doesn't work that way. We want it to work that way, but we're working with nature. And nature's not on our time clock. And of course, all of this works better when you have rain. We had rain this year, and we bought that farm. We went through 2 droughts. I built 2 new ponds on it over there, and we didn't get enough rain to even fill them up. They are now, or most of them are, so rain definitely makes a difference. But golly, I'm liking what I'm seeing here. We're going to have a ton of winter feed here, and the cows were here 7 days ago. We're not going to be back here for around 60 days, okay? 50 to 60 days. This is all going to be regrown, okay? And there's not going to be any parasites in it because we don't graze down low. Parasites stay on the ground surface, not up on the tips of the leaves. The reason they're not up on the tips of the leaves is the sun. The sun will just absolutely nuke them. And the parasites can't take that. So if you're making your animals graze your plants down short, you can expect to have a lot of worm load, parasites, in your animals, whether it's sheep, goats, or cattle. Okay? Gosh, this is just beautiful. I love the residual we're leaving. Tons of residual. Every grazing move. Leaving a lot, especially right now in the fall. Folks, this is Greg Judy signing off. Everyone have a great day.